Why is it said that the Middle Ages in Europe were dark, whereas the Renaissance was considered bright? Although many scholars still agree with this view. But this is indeed a serious historical bias. All of this starts with the etymology of the Renaissance. In Italian, the essence of the term Renaissance is rebirth. Since it means rebirth, it implies there was a previous state of stagnation. Therefore, the choice of this term itself is ambiguous. The term was first used by the renowned artist Giorgio Vasari in his artist biographies, using rebirth to describe the art and culture of the Renaissance period. This work mainly contrasts the art of the Renaissance with the art of the Middle Ages. According to Giorgio Vasari, the artists of the Renaissance were closer to the spirit of classical culture, that is, the spirit of ancient Greek and Roman culture, and the art forms of the Middle Ages suffered severe restrictions under religious dictatorship. He saw this as a deviation from classical tradition and an insult to art. This was a completely wrong direction of development. On the other hand, Giorgio Vasari was Italian. He lived during the Renaissance period himself. During this period, Italian art and culture was at its peak of brilliance. He was also a student of Michelangelo. Sponsored by the Medici family, in his artist biography, he praised many recipients of Medici family's sponsorship, portraying them as great cultural heroes. This may have been out of gratitude towards the Medici family, or perhaps out of a sense of patriotism, wanting to honor Italy's cultural achievements. In conclusion, Giorgio Vasari's true motivation, we can no longer verify, but his works were widely circulated and generally accepted, had a huge influence throughout Europe, to the extent that his views became the main source for many later individuals to understand the main sources of the Renaissance in medieval Europe, even frequently cited in many academic discussions. Over the next few hundred years, many historians and artists inherited his views. Although the Christian faith continued, the church at that time was already in a state of disarray. The humanist movement also opposed the religious dictatorship of the Middle Ages, placing it in opposition, thus depicting the Middle Ages as a time of ignorance and darkness, constrained by religious dogma and limited knowledge. But we all know that this is not the case. Oxford and Cambridge were already established in the later Middle Ages. Famous universities in Bologna and Salamanca, as well as the group I introduced earlier, influential philosophers. The phenomenon of cultural authoritarianism is widespread. However, the term Dark Middle Ages is somewhat too one-sided. It tends to completely negate the historical value of the Middle Ages. Of course here, I am not saying that Giorgio Vasari's artist biographies are completely without merit. On the contrary, his criticisms of many forms of medieval art are well documented. During the Middle Ages, many artistic creations indeed serves the symbolism of religion, the resurrection. Artistic creation also, to a certain extent, they have become tools for preaching to the illiterate. They have become tools for upholding ideology. They hardly convey any real meaning. Most of them are praises of biblical stories. The renowned universities of Bologna and Salamanca. However, in the late Middle Ages, we can see significant changes, such as Michelangelo, although he also served the church, but his creation of Adam on the Sistine Chapel is filled with depictions of the beauty of human strength. Another example is Leonardo da Vinci's famous Mona Lisa. Through her smile, we can see a detailed and subtle portrayal, based on human anatomy. These artworks quietly sit in corners, maintaining silence, yet they celebrate human wisdom and strength, praising the nobility and dignity of humanity. As if echoing in our ears, resounds the ancient proverb, "I am a human, I possess all human characteristics." Stay tuned as I take you to explore philosophy in a popular way. Next time, we will discuss the Renaissance period and the humanist figure Pico. Friends, see you next time.